What's up, guys, and welcome back to Week 8 of Talkin' Baseball. And now that the MLB season is underway, I wanted to talk about some things that have happened so far in the season, some things that may seem surprising, some things that weren't expected, and some things that are expected. So we're just going to be covering all the big things that have happened so far throughout the season. And to start things off, we're going to look at some surprises in the standings, some things we might expect, some things we might not. For me so far, the biggest surprise is the New York Yankees. They're 5-10. They have the second worst record in all of baseball, ahead of only the Rockies, and the worst record in the American League. I find this mind-boggling. I expected them to make a run at the World Series, and I think they still can. It's a 162-game season. They're 15 games in. There's 147 games to go. I think there's no doubt talent there, but they have to find something. They're currently on a 5-game skid, 2-8 over their last 10. They have to get hot. They're still only 4.5 back in their division because it's super early. They have plenty of time, but it's a surprising start nonetheless. The Kansas City Royals are surprising me in the AL Central so far. They're 9-5. I didn't expect that. That division is very close so far, although once again it's so early. It's hard to take anything into deep value with a team's record. AL West is about how I would expect it, except Seattle. I would expect the Angels, Oakland, and Houston to be in the top, and then the Rangers to be last, which is the case, except Seattle's second right now. I don't think that'll last, though. The National League, nothing really jumps out. The Dodgers are off to a great start once again. World Series champions are looking good. I think they have a very, very realistic shot to repeat. The Reds' offense was very potent in the first few weeks, or first couple games. They've cooled off as of late, but they're 5-5 over their last 10, but they're still 9-6, lead the Central, the NL Central. The Mets are looking good, new look Mets. That division's close to the NL East. The Dodgers are the only team in baseball really running away with their division. They're already up 4 games, only 15 games in. Now I want to look at some statistical individual stuff that's surprising. I'll go over batting average leaders, home run leaders, all that stuff, ERA leaders. Leading the league in batting average is Brandon Nimmo at 447. Then Acuna at 433. Then everyone's favorite, Yermin Mercedes. I want to spend a little bit on Yermin Mercedes. A 28-year-old rookie makes his debut. He goes off his first 3 games, starts off 8 for 8. First player to do that since like 1906 or something. He's still hitting 420 with 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, and a 1.143 OPS. He has cooled off as of late. He's only hitting 250 over his last 7 games, which still isn't bad. But considering the torrid start he got off to, it's not as good, which obviously is going to happen. No one's going to hit 600 for a whole season. It's near impossible to hit 400. But he is off to quite the start, and it's a great story he has, too. Vlad Guerrero Jr. is finally living up to the hype of the number 1 overall prospect he had coming up to the big leagues. So far this year, through 54 at-bats, he's hitting 389 with 4 home runs, 11 RBIs, and a 1.174 OPS. So he's looking good to start things off. He's still only 22 years old, so extremely young. So has a long future. Over his last 7 games, he's hitting 400. He's been hot the whole year, just consistent. It's like many multi-hit games already. Acuna's looking like the best player in baseball so far. Already has 7 home runs, which leads the big leagues with an insane 1.409 OPS. Also has 3 stolen bags along with 16 ribbies. Mike Trout is continuing to look like one of the best players in baseball, hitting 386 with great on-base percentage, lots of walks. He's looking really good. 13 walks to 16 strikeouts, which is almost even, which he does that like every year. But for the big leagues, that's special. That's an undervalued. Walking is undervalued. Guys who can walk a lot automatically increase their stock. Jared Walsh on the Angels is also looking very good. He's helping them out a lot. Shohei Ohtani. I really like Ohtani. Okay, so I thought he was overrated before this season. So far, his one appearance on the mound was good, really good. 4 2/3, 7 Ks, only 1 run allowed. Offensively, though, is what I really want to talk about. He's been great offensively. It's special. Like his bat is special. Plus, he throws 100 on the mound. That doesn't happen. I like the rookie Jazz Chisholm. He's off to a great start for the Marlins. He's electric. The way he plays. I see a highlight of him on Instagram almost every night because there's something he's doing constantly that catches someone's eye. Nelson Cruz is still raking at 41 years old. 4 home runs, 10 RBIs. He's hitting .390 as the DH up in Minnesota. JD Martinez is back to his form from 2 years ago. He struggled last year, but I figured it was just because of a short year. He never really got a chance to get things going. He's hitting .365 so far. That's looking good. Now I want to go over some disappointments. Some guys I'm disappointed with who I expected more out of. Giancarlo Stanton hitting a measly 176 so far in the Yankees. He does have 3 home runs and a 609 OPS, which is not good by any standards, but for having a 176 average, it's pretty decent. I think he'll get things going, but I definitely expect more out of him. Mike Yastrzemski also only hitting 170 after being phenomenal last year. Was expected to be great this year, and so far that is not the case. Aaron Hicks is struggling for the Yankees, hitting 160. Who else here? Francisco Lindor on the New York Mets is hitting 189. Does not have a single home run yet. Now it is only 37 at bats, which is not a big sample size at all, but still I expect better. Michael Conforto, Yoel Moncada are struggling. Jose Abreu is hitting 211. Freddie Freeman hitting 212. It's so early, though. So we'll do another one of these next week as the season continues to progress and see how this has changed. Jose Ramirez is struggling. There's so many great players struggling, which tells you their averages are low, their home runs are low, which tells you it's just too early in the season to make any assumptions. Pitching. Let's go look at pitching. Some of the pitching leaders. ERA, some of the guys you'd expect up towards the top. Jacob deGrom leads baseball with an 0.45 ERA. Wow. Corbin Burns has been phenomenal for the Brewers. He's third with an 0.49 ERA. 18 innings so far with 30 strikeouts and 0 walks. That is absurd. That is unheard of. An 0.22 whip. A whip of 1.2 is elite. 0.2 is... That doesn't happen. John Means has been really good for the Orioles. He's been their ace for sure. Tyler Glasnow and Joe Musgrove are looking very good for their respective teams. Musgrove threw that no-hitter, of course. Glasnow has an 0.73 ERA. He's really helping the race. He's 2-0 with 36 strikeouts and 24 2/3 innings. Garrett Cole has a 1.82 ERA. He had his first loss today, but is still third in baseball with 39 Ks and 24 2/3 innings. Shane Beaver is the first player ever to have 10 strikeouts and 4 straight starts to start the season. He has 48 strikeouts and 29 in the third innings, a 2-1 record with a 2.45 ERA. His strikeout numbers are mind-boggling. Trevor Bauer's looking good in LA so far. 23 innings at 33 strikeouts, a measly 0.65 whip, and a great 2.74 ERA, so he's looking really good. All the pitchers I would expect to do good are doing good. It's a little bit unlike hitting. If you can pitch the whole season. It doesn't take time to find your stride. Because Blake Snell is doing good for the Padres. Clayton Kershaw is doing good for the Dodgers. Jose Barrios, Lucas Giolito, Lance Lynn, good for the Twins and White Sox. Aaron Nola is good for the Phillies. So pitching goes how I would expect. Shane Bieber leads the leagues in innings pitched. Clayton Kershaw is looking very good. Vintage pre-injury Kershaw for the Dodgers. I like that there. Saves. Let's go look at relievers. Jake McGee leads the league in saves, which, I mean, he's a good left-handed reliever and he has been for some time, but he's getting up there in age, so that's good to see out there with the San Francisco Giants. Emmanuel Clase is tied for third with Diego Castillo with 4 saves already. Hasn't allowed a run in 7 1/3 innings over 8 appearances out of the bullpen. 10 strikeouts isn't surprising to see. This 23-year-old with a 100-mile-per-hour cutter. It's absurd to throw 100 in general, but 100-mile-per-hour cutter, that's That doesn't need to be explained. Let's go look at defense. See who might be struggling in the field. Fernando Tatis has 7 errors already, which leads baseball by 3. The next most errors is 4. And Tatis missed like 6 or 7 games on the IL as well. So he has not been good in the field so far. Javi Baez is struggling both at the plate and in the field, hitting 192, up towards the league lead in strikeouts. He does have 4 home runs and a 700 OPS, but he's not been as good as he was a few years ago for a while. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers it all the stuff that has stood out to me through the first 2 weeks of the season. Make sure to join back again next week where we'll be going over a more in-depth, as the season continues to go on, view at individual standings, what stands out. So thanks for joining me on This Week of Talking Baseball. See you guys next week.